Welcome to Closing Day. My name is Jeff Delgrand, your host. And Closing Day is a show that's all about real estate. We cover everything here: buying, selling, renovating, appraising. Anything you can think about real estate, we're going to cover on this show. Our goal on the show is to be informational, educational, inspirational, maybe have a little bit of fun along the way, but to give you some tips and some information that are going to help save you time, save money, and make your whole real estate experience more enjoyable. Today's topic is one that I think everybody has this question in the back of their mind: is real estate agents, what do they do? You know, we've got that image of what we think they do. They have that image of what they think they do. It's the old, what mom thinks we do, all that stuff. Well, today to help us out with that question, we have a professional real estate or realtor, Cindy Williams. He's going to help us out with this question. But before we get into by the way, welcome to the show, Cindy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Before I get too far into it, we'll talk about what a realtor does, but what does it take to become a realtor?
Okay. There's a whole list of things, actually. I would say, starting off, if you're going to consider real estate as a career, to really investigate it, to really know what you're getting into. Because I know there's a misconception that is out there that people think that you're just it's an easy license to get, and then you're going to start selling houses, and then you're going to make millions of dollars. You become instantly rich. And then you have all the free time in the world possible, and none of that's true. So I think it's important for people to have a realistic view on what they're getting into, and really know that you're going to have a personality that fits in with the industry, because it's a tough industry. It's not all glam like people think. It's one of those where you have to have really thick skin in a lot of cases. There's a lot of times transactions don't always work out. And you're dealing with a lot of high emotions, so you have to have empathy. If you're not an empathetic person, I would say real estate's not for you, because you do have to care about your clients, and there's so many individual situations that you need to care. Like, you need to understand where they're coming from, whether it's a divorce or downsizing, because there are people I know I've sold someone's house they've lived in for almost 50 years and raised their family, and it's heartbreaking for them to have to sell it. So you have to, I think, be a very empathetic person to understand where that person's coming from.
So it's part psychologist, part psychiatrist, part a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. If you're a good listener, that helps, because that's something else. You have to listen to your clients' needs. So if you're a person that likes to do all the talking, real estate is not for you. You have to have good listening skills and good comprehension skills to understand somebody's needs. Everybody's needs are individual, and you have to work with them on that. So there's a lot more that goes into it. If you're a person that likes your free time, if you value your free time, real estate is not for you. I'm going to be honest and realistic for people. This is, a career that takes a lot more time than people have an understanding of, and it does take a real backbone to get into it. So even before you look at taking the courses with this pie in the sky idea of becoming a real estate agent, you have to know what you're getting into, what you're really, really, really getting into. And then from there, you have to have a financial backup plan, because you're not going to be making money right away unless you happen to have a friend or a relative that they're going to start you off. But you're in competition with all these other licensed realtors, so it could take some time to get up and running. It's like any business. You're your own business, so you have to work into that, right?
I remember that. There's that quote, I can't remember. It's Brian Buffini said that, everyone, you should get into real estate because you can make unlimited amounts of money. There is no ceiling to how much you can make. But they forget to tell you, there's also no floor.
Yes.
Right? So I think that's what you're talking about.
100%. And I don't think people understand that all the time. They just they don't know what it's going to take. You're going to be paying initially about $7,000 for your courses.
Really? Okay.
It's about that, just to get started, just to get through your courses. And then from there, you have to invest in your business, to grow your business. So you're looking at your material, you're looking at brokerage fees, you're looking at other licensing fees, because there's the Canadian Real Estate Association, the Ontario Real Estate Association, there's RICO fees, Real Estate Council of Ontario. There's a lot of fees that people aren't aware of that you have to pay. And you pay those annually. But when you're licensed at the very beginning, you pay that right at the start too. There's a lot of investment to get going. So you can't get into it if you're broke and you think that this is going to save you from being broke. Maybe somewhere way down the road, but initially you're going to be, you have to have a financial backup plan, or maybe like if you have a spouse that can support you while you're doing this, and you're definitely going to take a little bit of a hit financially. So if you're
so somebody wants to become an agent, they've got a budget for the cost of becoming an agent.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, they used to say that try to have 6 months' salary saved up. Would that be enough in this day and age?
I would say that's a good start. It could take longer than 6 months for some people. It depends on your circle of influence, and even then they tell you, okay, well, go after your circle of influence. Well, guess what? Sometimes your friends and family don't want to use you because you're too close. They want the arm's length transaction. So if they're not happy, they can fire the person, right?
Okay, that's good. I can see that.
So, I know that there are times friends go with people that they don't know, family.
Right.
It's hard. And that's where you have to have thick skin, because, when your own mother goes to a different stage. I haven't had that personal experience. I'm just using that. But, I mean, that is a reality, too. So sometimes your circle of influence doesn't get you launched at the beginning. You have to have something to carry you until things start to roll. Like any business, any starting business.
Right.
And you're your own, like I said, you're your own business, right? And then from there, if you decide it's what you want to do, this is your career of choice, and you've got some money backing you, and you're feeling great about it, you're passionate about, helping people, buying and selling houses, and everything, that's when you're going to go for your education. So to get involved in, or get started with the education side of it, you have to go to OREA. That's one way to do it. It's www.orea.com.
Okay.
All right. So that's the Real Estate Association College, Ontario Real Estate Association College. They're out of Don Mills.
Okay.
And they structure it so that now I've been licensed for 18 years. So it might have changed from 18 years ago. But it should still be approximately the same. You can take it by correspondence, you can do online, or you can go classroom. So there are 3 different choices you have. And then you have 3 phases that you have to pass. So phase 1 is your initial starting off phase, and you have to get through phase 1 to go to phase 2. If you're not passing, that's a good indication this isn't your career. But if you can get through phase 1 and then go into phase 2, pass phase 2, go into phase 3, pass phase 3. You have 18 months to get all of that accomplished. Your phase 1, your phase 2,
and that's about, what, a 6-month course that you could do in 18 months? Is that sort of how, does it take 6 months to do the course if you go into the classroom, or how long does it take?
It could. I'm, like I said, 18 years ago.
Oh, okay,
I did mine.
I just heard that
mostly,
somewhere. I thought maybe
mostly correspondence. I did mine, and then the last in phase 3, it's classroom time. You have to have 40 hours classroom time. If I remember correctly, that's how it was. So it likely didn't change. You do have to have classroom time. And then you're going to have what's called a provisional license. Once you've managed to get through phase 3, you have a provisional license. So you have to go for the next 2 years into an articling stage, they call that. Articling is a chance, it's almost like an apprenticeship.
Okay.
So you can align yourself with other realtors that are more experienced and get your feet wet that way. You are allowed to start selling while you have your provisional license. But in order to get your full license, you have to pass your commercial real estate course.
really?
In the next 2-year period, you have to pass your commercial real estate course, and then you have to pass an elective course. So the elective course could be mortgaging, it could be real estate investment. I think there's 4 different options for an elective, and you have to pass those 2 in order to become a fully licensed realtor. Well, not as easy as you thought, right?
Holy man, is that ever a lot of work?
Oh, but wait, that's not all. There's more.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a Ginsu commercial, whatever?
That's right. There's more. Well,
wait, there's more.
The free knives, yeah.
So every 2 years, from the point that you're licensed, then you have to maintain your license, and we have to have 24 what they call RICO credits in every 2-year period.
Oh, wow.
So it's continual education. You don't just get your license and then you're like, woohoo, you never have to deal with it again.
Yeah.
It's constant education. We have to take courses. We have to keep up on the current issues, the current changes in the market, the current changes in how real estate is done. Like, that's the best way to structure it. We are on top of things, and they make us do it.
That's a pile of work, commitment, investment, and now, can you be a part-time real estate agent? Not that I think you'd ever want to, with all that effort and investment you have to make.
I would suggest that it's not wise to go that route, because you're still all throughout the year responsible for certain costs.
Yeah.
And being part-time, selling 1 or 2 houses a year will just suck that right up.
Yeah.
Gone. So it's not really worth it. And a lot of clients, they're going to question. If they are looking for a quality realtor, they want to know that you're doing this full-time, that you're committed full-time, and this is what you do. This isn't just a la-di-da, I'll do it on, if I have a Saturday free, I'll help you, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I wouldn't want a part-time brain surgeon if I needed a brain surgeon, right?
Exactly.
A part-time mechanic, same thing. It's, you want someone who really knows their stuff. So that would make sense.
100%. So it's not suggested somebody does it part-time. There are people that do it part-time.
Right.
And more power to them. I mean, you can't tell somebody how they want to run their business.
Yeah, there's people who try to sell their own homes too, and that's like doing your own brain surgery, which is even, that's probably the worst advice you could ever give anybody.
I know. I've said that. I have said that so often. I guess it comes down to people want to save money. Yeah. And you understand that. I understand that. Of course, if they can save a few dollars.
Okay. Yeah.
But if, there are times you need the professional. So I don't change my own brakes. I don't go on Google or I don't check out YouTube for my own brakes or cut my own hair or pull my own teeth.
Okay, well that actually gives us a good segue, because we're coming up to a break, and I did want to ask a question, which I will, and we'll cover it when we get back. But how does someone find the right real estate agent for them? That's something I want to cover when we get back.
Sure.
Okay, Cindy Williams, professional realtor, thank you for helping us out. We'll be back in a moment.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to Closing Day. Today I have with me Cindy Williams, professional realtor, and we're talking about everything it takes to be a realtor, all the different, we talked about earlier on, the education, the expense of setting up your own business, and the whole process.
The reality of real estate.
The reality of real estate.
Yes.
So what I want to start off with is the home buying process.
Okay.
So let's cover that. Whether you're buying, selling, what stages would you have to go through? Say if you want to buy a home, what stages do I have to go through?
Okay, so buying a house, the very number one thing that you need to do is align yourself with a good mortgage broker like yourself. I would suggest.
Thanks for the compliment. But
well,
yes.
It's true, because there's no point in getting excited about going shopping if you don't know that you're going to qualify for a mortgage.
And, yes, yeah, so get pre-qualified first before you go out. Okay.
100% number one thing to do. I mean, it doesn't cost them anything to get pre-qualified.
Right.
And that's something that's an interesting point with buyers I've found over the years. How many of them believe that they have to pay a realtor or a mortgage broker to do the work for them as a buyer? And we're free agents at that point.
That's true,
right?
Yeah, it's free service.
It doesn't cost them to get pre-approved for a mortgage, so why wouldn't you just go ahead and do that?
Right.
And then there's no obligation. You give them an approval that lasts 90 to 120 days roughly, and then if they use it, great. If they don't, then they can reapply or whatever they're going to do. But there's no cost.
And same with a real estate agent, right?
Same with a buying agent in real estate.
Yeah.
We're free. We're going to do, we're free. Hey, it happens. There's free stuff.
Yeah, these are free.
So, yeah, we work for the buyers without getting paid, in the hopes that when a transaction happens, the seller, it comes out of the selling commission.
Yeah, okay.
And then in that case, we get paid through the selling commission. So the seller is the one that pays the commission because they're the ones with the equity in the sale of their home. Basically, they have that. Okay. On a very rare occasion, we do have a contract that's called buyer agency.
Right.
And under a buyer agency contract, we have in there that the brokerage is entitled to 2.5% commission, which is the industry standard. And there is a very rare occasion where if the seller refuses to pay, the buyer, if they really, really want the house, can be put into a position where they have to pay that 2.5%. It very, very rarely
happens. So is that like
happens.
a different type of real estate agent? Because I was going to ask you about different types of real estate agents. Is that sort of like there's a buyer's agent?
You can have all kinds. You can be a buyer representative, you can be a seller representative, you can be both.
Right.
You can be a leasing representative, you can be a commercial agent and strictly do commercial business. And then you could do just investments. You could be a rural farm specialist, so you're only dealing with farms, and because there's a lot of little ins and outs with farm properties, you know. And
so would you suggest if somebody was looking for a farm then that they find a farm specialist? Would that be the best way to do it?
That would be suggested.
Yeah? Okay.
You can also have a realtor who's the all-around, who's done everything.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, the newer agents aren't going to have that background experience, but the more established agents have had the experience in all those different areas. I know I have. Commercial, farm, residential resale, condo, you name it, I've done it. I have done everything investment, I've done it. So in that case, I'm confident in my ability to represent in a transaction that would be rural. But if they would prefer to have somebody that just strictly specializes in that, then they should try finding somebody that does that.
Which
really
makes sense. So if somebody wants to buy a rural property in the Orangeville area, because there's lots of it around here, to go downtown Toronto to find a real estate agent may not be the smartest way to do it, right?
No, and I think people have found that out the hard way sometimes.
I'm sure they have.
They're like, what's this? Where does our water come from? We don't understand this. And their agent's like, I don't know, it just seems to be showing up.
It just comes out of the ground. It's like magic. That's right.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like Beverly Hillbillies and the oil.
Yes.
Yeah, so you got to find an agent that's going to be good for the type of real estate that you're looking for.
That's important, I think.
And then a buying agent then takes you through a process, or just...
The buying agent is absolutely there to educate you in the process and to hold your hand if needed, if this is a first-time thing, to take you through every step of the process and explain it clearly, because unfortunately there are times people get rushed into things without the full information, and there is a thing called buyer's regret. Unfortunately, that happens where they've moved into the house and all of a sudden now they're coming up with all these issues and they're like, but our real estate agent didn't tell us about this. So it's crucial to have somebody who knows, like, that you feel very confident with, that will be representing your interest as a buyer's agent, as a buying agent. There's a lot of things that a buyer agent needs to do to protect their client. So the people that are buying need to investigate who's going to be the best person for the job. Really interview at least three
Okay,
agents.
so there's a piece of good advice. Interview at least 3 agents.
Yeah.
Now,
buying or selling.
That's what I was going to ask. What about selling? Would you?
Yeah.
What would you talk about the selling process? How's that going to be different?
I'm very comfortable with telling people every single time to please interview at least 3 agents, because I don't think they're happy if they just go with the first one and then they're having questions. They need to make the decision. They have to have the options. So, you know, and you're going to really interview that agent. You're going to find out their background knowledge, you know, what their strategy is for selling your house, if it's a selling agent. So what is the strategy? What is the marketing angle? And how are they going to best represent in the transaction as well? And you're going to know, I think people just know, there's so many personalities. There's just so many personalities out there that, you know, not everybody clicks with everybody.
Yeah.
You might have somebody who's really kind of back, chill, you know, they just go with the flow. They want an agent that's going to work with them like that.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other one that's like, no, go, 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 you know, they opposite. So you need the agent that's going to work with that person, that personality. And the client is going to get a feel through the interview for the personality that matches them, I think. What makes them most comfortable, because you're getting into, it's a temporary relationship. Sometimes it turns into a long-term friendship relationship. Yeah. If, you know, things have gone really well. And I know over the years I've made a lot of friends through real estate just because of that. But you're building, it's a business relationship, and you want to have the right business relationship. Are there
any questions you would suggest people would ask when they're interviewing a listing agent?
Yep. What, like I said, what their marketing strategy would be. Right. Would be really key. There are some with some great marketing strategies in this area, like you'll see. And I think another thing that would be important to find out is testimonials. Ask them for testimonials.
Okay.
If they don't have them, that would be a big concern, I think.
So references, like
you want references. They might have already come to you as a referral, but if they haven't, try to get some testimonials. You can also check the Real Estate Council of Ontario, and that is our governing body. So if there's anything that's been a complaint or a judgment against a real estate agent, RICO has a record of it. Oh. You can always check with RICO. How is this agent? If that's the agent that you're considering, has there ever been a judgment? Is there any issue?
Skeletons in the closet.
Right, right. Okay. Because everybody paints the pretty picture until it comes down to it. So that's something that you want to find out 100%, because some people will talk the talk and won't walk the walk. Oh, we'll do this for you, we'll do that for you, and they make it like they glam it up. We're going to do so many things. And then they get you to sign the paper, and they stick a sign on your lawn, and you never see them. That's it. Yeah. You know, until maybe they get a phone call from either the client or from a buyer or something, and then all of a sudden they reappear. And, you know, all the promises are broken. So how do you ensure that the promises that they're making, they're going to be keeping? And the best way to do that is to find out what other people's experiences have been.
That'd be important. I recall from personal experience where I'd had a house sold and the agent never contacted me, and finally I said, like, can you call me once or twice a week, even just to say nothing's happening, just so I know you're still alive? Yeah. And you know, that was a long time ago, but I guess that would be a question if I was interviewing an agent today. I would say, you know, how often are you going to contact me? I'd be asking a few questions like that. References, I think, is a brilliant way to
Well, you made a point. You're saying, like, what's important to you. So the communication is important to you. Yeah. And if the real estate agent or the realtor is listening, they're going to note that. You want to be contact. You want to have the communication open and know that your realtor is out there. Hopefully they're communicating anyway, but there are some people that are just like, you know what, just call me whenever I've got an offer. Don't bug me otherwise. So it's important to do like interviewing both ways. You're going to interview the realtor is going to interview you, and find out exactly how you like things. Right. So that there's no miscommunication along the way.
All right, so how would you suggest, we talked about this in the first half, it was a question that came up, that somebody find the right realtor for them? What suggestions would you give us?
Okay, so as I explained, I would, well, you can check with friends, referrals. Yeah. Referrals are probably the most important. Yeah. You've had people that have had good experiences, bad experiences. It's like anything that you're going to do. If you're looking for a mechanic, you're looking for a dentist, or a hairdresser, you're going to hear from other people that have experienced. Yeah,
and personality must be, I would think, quite important.
It's huge. It's huge. You like you need to have that the connection. Yeah. The connection between people is very, very important. Not everybody grooves to everybody, and if you're having a working relationship and you are going to be, you're going to be spending a lot of time together. Yeah. So you kind of have to like each other for a little while anyway. You have to like each other. Yeah. And if you don't, I would like everybody in the world to know this. You can fire your real estate agent. You can fire them. I can't tell you how many people have come to me and complained that they're locked into a contract with another realtor.
I hear that a lot, yeah.
And they want out, and their realtor won't let them out. Yeah. And it's really bad business practice to hold people to a contract when they're not happy with you. Like that's just, it's, in my eyes, it's not a good way to practice in anything in life. You treat people the way that you want to be treated. I would not want to be held into like this ironclad contract with somebody if I'm not happy with the work that they're doing or not doing. Right, right. So you can ask for a termination of your contract, whether you're buyer or seller, buying agency, seller, listing agent. Right. I know other realtors out there are going to be like, Cindy, shut up, what are you doing? But that's the honest truth, and people should know that they have those options, right? Okay, not feel so caged in and then mad at their realtor, and then they're going to tell everybody else. All right, well that's good advice. I'm glad we covered all that, but it sounds like the most important thing is to find an agent that you mesh with, that you're going to get along with, you're going to spend a lot of time with that agent. Yes. Excellent. Okay. Cindy, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you very much for all this information. Yeah, my pleasure. And yeah, thanks for being on the show. Thank you everyone for being here. I'm Jeff Del Gran from Closing Day, and we'll see you next time.